discuss the Putting People First energy package. I'm proud to stand with my colleagues who put people first in Michigan for affordable, reliable, and clean energy. As chair of Energy, Communications, and Technology Committee and the Energy Reliability, Resilience, and Accountability, or ERRA Task Force, I know a ton of care and work has gone into crafting legislation that will benefit Michiganders in real, tangible ways. The bills that came out of the committee today are an essential element in the work being done in this legislative session on Michigan's clean energy future. Other bills passed in the House recently establish a pathway to Michigan's clean energy by 2040, and that's the goal. The focus there includes expanded opportunities for energy permitting and regulation and other infrastructure groundwork to make these new alternative energies available, all while creating high paying jobs for Michiganders. The Putting People First energy package builds upon and complements our other legislation as we transition to clean energy by 2040. The work we've done on these important energy issues around the state through the listening tour helped us craft legislation for renewable and more reliable utilities that are people focused and solution orientated. This summer, members of the ERRA task force were grateful to take the time to listen to Michiganders about their energy needs. As we learned about many experiences with energy across the state, time and time again, we heard the same thing everywhere we went. People are tired of having frequent and long outages due to aging and inadequate infrastructure that can't handle the level of storms that we're experiencing here as of late. Michiganders are tired of rising bills and surprise rate increases. Michigan's clean energy future must be affordable. And I'm going to stress that. It must be affordable. And Michiganders are all in on having sustainable and renewable energy options, which decrease costs and help our planet. The holistic approach we're taking to tackle energy in Michigan is the right course of action. These next steps meet the future energy needs for the people in our state. Michiganders deserve reliable and affordable energy, and the Putting People First energy package makes the point that accountability in the delivery of services is required for checks and balances in the utility industry. Today, the Energy Committee moved four key pieces of legislation that add to the building plan recently passed by the House for a Clean Energy Michigan by 2040. To quickly summarize today's package's big takeaways, each bill that passed the committee today, first of all, was House Bill 5216, which was my bill. It establishes a multi-year rate study and other penalties and incentives attached to rates. House Bill 5220, which is Rep. Andrews' bill, establishes resiliency hubs across the state to help with extreme weather conditions. House Bill 5221, Rep. Neely, ends double charging for low income customers. And House Bill 5218, Rep. Hill, allows the state to plan better in the utilization of home heating funds. The lead bill, House Bill 5216, requires regular review and reporting of reliability and performances from energy companies, as well as my bill establishes incentives and penalties for companies when customers experience prolonged outages or experience losses and damages like spoiled groceries. And utilities will benefit when they hit the mark of excellence for customer service, safety, reliability, environmental impact, and social obligations, like creating or expanding low income programs. House Bill 5216 requires transparency from energy companies, requiring better tracking and regular report intervals for reliability with industry and jurisdiction standards. We have been sure to bring accountability into this legislation. This is just the beginning of introducing legislation from the ERRA efforts. We're putting people first in Michigan when it comes to improving all of our energy, and we're making our energy reliable, affordable, and clean energy is a priority in our state. We're holding utilities accountable to the highest and best standards when delivering energy to Michiganders, and when they don't, it will cost the utility to make it right. Next, I'd like to welcome my colleague, Rep. Andrews, to speak about his bill and the Putting People First Energy Package. Thank you. You're welcome.
Move this up a tick. Thank you, Chair Scott, and thank you all for being here. My name is Joey Andrews, and I represent the 38th House District, which stretches along the coastline of Lake Michigan from New Buffalo to Saugatuck, including the communities of South Haven and my home in St. Joseph. As you're probably aware, the west side of the state often bears the brunt of extreme weather events through Michigan, particularly lake effect snow during our prolonged winters. As Rep. Scott mentioned, it was power outages caused by extreme winter weather that led to the creation of the ERRA task force. It was important to me to not only join the task force, but to hold one of the listening tour stops in my district in Benton Harbor, a community that is frequently affected by power outages. I'm proud of the work we did to create the legislation that will make a meaningful improvement in the lives of residents across Michigan, because as the name of the package suggests, we are putting people first. I'd like to take a moment to explain my bill in the package. As Chair Scott summarized, HB 5220 lays out two main requirements. The first is that by January of 2025, the Michigan Public Service Commission, in consultation with our electric and gas utilities and the Michigan State Police, must convene a work group to establish standardized best practices for first responders during extreme weather events. They must devise a training policy for first responders regarding extreme weather, and as we know, storms like the ones we saw in February of this year are only getting more common. Police, firefighters, and EMTs play a crucial role in keeping people safe during extreme weather. It's important that they get both the best possible training and information to use when lives are potentially on the line. The second requirement is that the MSP to help local governments identify and establish resiliency hubs in their communities. Resiliency hubs are places that people can gather during extreme weather when power might be out. It might be warming or cooling center. It could be temporary shelter for people who have lost air conditioning, a place to distribute supplies for those in need. These places are a lifeline, especially for low-income and middle-class folks during and after a severe storm. Ensuring that suitable locations for resiliency hubs are identified, whether they're a local school, church, or some other building, will help first responders and community nonprofits deliver shelter, resources, and services to the people who need them. We can't change the weather, but we can make sure that we're prepared when it gets bad. I'd like now to turn it over to my friend and colleague from the UP, Representative Jen Hill.
Good morning. Yes, I'm Representative Jen Hill, House District 109, which is the Central Upper Peninsula, Baraga County, Marquette County, Alger County, and the eastern two-thirds of Dickinson County. My colleagues and I have been hard at work putting together the legislation that addresses Michigan's energy needs on multiple fronts, and I'm so grateful to be part of this Putting People First energy package. Making renewable energy more accessible to Michigan residents has been a priority for me because of the numerous benefits: caring for our air and water, pursuing energy independence, and grid stability. Energy is also a huge priority in the Upper Peninsula, as we pay some of the highest electric rates in the entire United States. My colleagues and I put together some common sense policies that will increase the reliability of our grid while lowering energy costs. Our package, once signed into law, will truly put Michigan on a path to affordable, clean, and reliable energy. I'm proud of the work we've done to get to this point. Anyone with experience will tell you that energy is not easy. Energy issues are complicated, and they require multifaceted solutions. After listening to residents across the state, and thank you for having an event up in Marquette. And I also was at the event in Detroit, and so we covered all parts of Michigan. And listening to the residents, it was clear to us that the ERRA task force that we need to tackle Michigan's energy issues with a comprehensive approach to see how it could best meet the needs of all Michiganders. Our plan for Michigan's energy future will ensure the state's resilience while creating certainty that we can meet the increasing demands and challenges of the future. My bill, House Bill 1518, will require utilities to submit data on propane storage to the Michigan Public Service Commission. That is information that the utilities and propane retailers already submit to the U.S. Energy Information Agency. However, that information then has to come back to the state in the current way of doing things, and it can take a month or more for that data to come back. We had a situation in February of 22 where we actually experienced delays, significant delays in getting propane delivered to customers. And I found out about that because I'm part of a Facebook group with 8,000 women called Community of Women in the UP. And folks started posting, are you having trouble getting your propane filled? And this was in February, mind you, of the UP. So from that, I actually contacted the Michigan Public Service Commission, and they were able to trace down that there were issues with getting the deliveries from Canada. But until that Facebook group post, we did not know that this was happening, and the state had no way of knowing. So it's very important. It's not really an extra requirement. It's all the data that's already gathered at the federal level. It's just going to come to the state level at the same time. And so therefore, we're going to have more reliability, and folks can be assured that this critical propane is going to be available when folks need it. I just want to say other things that we heard on the ERRA tour were also concerns about our small communities. There's actually a provision that if an outage is less than a few thousand people, it doesn't have to be reported. Well, that's an entire community in the Upper Peninsula. So very glad that we're taking, that issue got raised to the fore at our meeting in Marquette. And so want to make sure that everyone across Michigan, when they have an outage, that is now counted. And then concerns too about how reliable renewables actually are. And I think we're getting an education on that right now through this energy package, and I'm excited to see what's going to be coming forward with that, with more developments as the new technology gets rolled out with the package that we've passed. Our priority is always to put people first. And we never stopped asking ourselves, how will this help Michiganders? Thank you, Rep. Scott. I will return the podium to you.
So, as you've heard, the passage of the bills and the Putting People First energy package is about increasing the reliability, affordability, and accountability for the utility industry. That was one of the main things that we heard on the tour, is that they wanted to make sure that their service was reliable because they felt it was definitely inconsistent, and residents want to make sure that the utilities are held accountable, and we're attempting to do that with this package. Michiganders deserve access to affordable power they can truly depend on. When I held the hearing in March, you may recall it was a full room. We had several constituents there. That was really one of the main concerns, that they wanted to make sure their power was affordable, reliable, and the grid was resilient. We do see that DTE and consumers have raised the cap on DG. So that was a direct result of this listening tour. So I want everyone to please stay tuned for more ERA legislation. Well, we thank you so much for coming out today, and please share the news that we're putting together, and pass this out of committee, and looking forward to completing the package and getting it out. So thank you so much.